So for my maneuver, I chose to teach Chandelles. So first we will start with why the purpose of a chandelle. The purpose of a chandelle is to gain max performance while doing a 180-degree turn, and max performance just means gaining as much altitude as possible as you can from maneuver, but obviously they say max performance and they don't give a specific altitude to climb at because every day, there's different density altitude, environmental conditions and stuff like that. So you're not going to be able to consistently climb 200, 300, maybe 400 feet one day because during colder days the air is more dense. So you'll be able to get you'll get better performance on your wings because the air is denser. They'll be able to push up more against that, and your engine will receive colder air, so you'll get a little more power. So during colder days, you will be able to climb better as opposed to the summer, and that's why it's not fair for a DP to be able to judge you on how much you're going to climb because air density will play a big role in how much you'll be able to climb. And it does show pilot coordination, orientation, and accuracy. So being able to do these as a pilot does show that you're a professional. It shows that you're good. It shows you're able to maintain coordination and be able to accurately fly through the maneuver, which that is, what you'd want out of a commercial pilot. You'd want them to be coordinated, competent, oriented, and accurate for the maneuvers. And if for any reason, you're flying around and you end up in a canyon or something, and you have to pull up a Top Gun maneuver, you get into like a canyon or something, and you can do that climbing 180-degree chandelle. That would be a good way to get out, something that is useful for, which you will probably realistically never find yourself in that situation anyway. But if for some reason you did, this maneuver could be good for getting out. Or if there's rising terrain, maybe you're flying around in a woodsy area or something around Eastman, flying low, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, but if for some reason you find yourself doing that, and there's just a big mountain in front of you and you need to climb, but you're in between tree layers or something, I don't know, this is just completely hypothetical, you'll probably never find yourself in this anyway, but if you do that chandelle, fly up out, get out of those trees, and turn around while doing a 180-degree turn. And then so for the ACS standards for this maneuver, the first one would be clearing the area, making sure before you do the chandelle, you're clearing the area, 90-degree turn to the left, 90-degree turn back, and you want to look for, good place to land if your engine fails, traffic, make sure you're not going to hit anyone, and terrain, making sure you're not going to run into any poles or anything like that. And this maneuver has to be done at least 1,500 feet AGL, and so I'm sure because it's commercial pilots, they'll probably learn how to do this, but if for some reason they don't, to find 1,500 AGL, you just take the nearest airport elevation, kind of where you're at, or the field elevation where you are, I'd say is a better terminology. Take the field elevation where you're currently at and add 1,500. So in Eastman, it is 303. So if we're doing chandelles around Eastman, we would do them at 1,800 at least, 1,803, because that is 300 plus 1,500 equals 1,800. So that'd be 1,800 MSL. And you want to have a maneuvering entry speed. So for our Piper Archers, it is anywhere from 89 to 113 knots. So you just want to make sure, that'll vary based on like weight and stuff, and there is a maneuver formula that you can get into. But roughly, it'll approximately be around 100 to 105, just depending on how much the pilot and the flight instructor weigh. And another ACS standard is initial bank 30 degrees. So once you get that initial bank, you have to go to 30. You can't just bank to 40 and then slowly go back to 30, or bank to like 20 and slowly go into 30. You got to just right off the bat go right into 30 degrees. And you have to, while you're, which we'll get into more about this later when I start talking about actual maneuver, but you have to increase the power and pitch simultaneously. You can't just, add 30 degrees of bank, wait a little bit, and then start increasing the pitch. And coordination, staying coordinated during the whole maneuver, that is a big one. And as long as you are plus or minus 10 knots above your stall speed at 180 degrees, then the maneuver is considered good to ACS standards, and remain straight and level flight after. All right. So we'll get up with started with the setup. So you want to go for for the Piper Archer, you first want to clear the area. So that would be your basic turn 90 to the left, making sure you have a good place to land if you need it. You're not going to hit any traffic, you're not going to hit any terrain. And then you want to go through your checklist. So for us, that would be the before landing checklist. Fuel pump on for safety, just in case the engine fails. That way you have the electric driven fuel pump. And then turn your landing lights on. That way other people can see you in the area. If there's a crop duster nearby or something, because sometimes they don't pull up on the traffic screen. So that way if they're there, they can see you, or gives them better odds at least of seeing you and you seeing other traffic. And then you want to trim for cruise speed. That way, before you start the maneuver, your plane's already straight and level. You don't have to do much to hold it. You're kind of just flying along, and then you want to pick a good 90-degree point. So in the example I use, which I find these are some of the easiest points and are always around, is a road. Having a road is a good 90 point. You could use other stuff if there's a big prominent cloud. You could use that. A city, runway, just anywhere where you can just have a good 90 visual reference. And then so what you first want to do when you're entering the maneuver, so you want to increase power, bank to 30 degrees, and slowly start pitching up. And you want to use a rudder to maintain coordination. So because they'll be in the left seat, they'll be doing it to the left. So since we're using left bank, we need to use left rudder to stay coordinated. So they'll go full power, bank 30, slowly start pitching up. You want to just slowly pitch up, slowly pitch up, slowly pitch up until you get approximately 15 degrees. But again, this will be based on performance. Maybe in the winter you can pitch up to 17, whereas in a hot summer day that's really humid, you can maybe only pitch up to 12 or 13 degrees. And then so you want to maintain 30 degrees until you're 45 degrees off your initial point. So for us it'll be 15 to 20 degrees, and then once you get to that 90 point again, so your power pitch slowly, or your power bank 30, slowly pitching up, then once you hit that 90-degree point, that's where you want your max bank to be. That we were talking about earlier, that 13 to 17 degrees roughly, maybe 20 if it's really cold, anywhere from there. And then you have to hold that pitch once you hit your 90-degree point and start rolling that right bank out. And once you're rolling that right bank out, you're going to need right rudder to stay coordinated, and you just slowly roll that out while maintaining that same pitch. And right when you get to the end of the maneuver, it should be about to stall. It should be saying stall, stall, stall. You should hit a stall horn, and you'll be plus or minus 10 knots above your stall speed. And then once you do hit your rollout at 180-degree wings level, finally, your airspeed should be VS1, that's the stall speed, and you have to hold that attitude for 3 seconds. So roll out 180, go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and should be saying stall, 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 and then you just level off right there, maintain straight and level flight, and you'd probably gain anywhere from 200 to 600 feet roughly, would be a good estimate. And then so basically I'll walk it through again now that we got through the setup of the diagram. So as you can see, stage 1, he's in cruise flight, he's got it trimmed and everything right there. And then we'll go to stage 2. This is when he increases the power to full power, instantly banks to 30 degrees, slowly starts pitching up, slowly pitch up, pitch up, pitch up, and then you get to right here, and you are at your 90-degree point right here, which we can see, is this road. He's perpendicular to the road, that's how he knows his 90-degree point, and then from there you want to maintain that same pitch. So if he got to 15 degrees of pitch, now you hold that pitch and start rolling the bank out. So this right here is constant bank, changing pitch, and then this hap up here is changing bank, constant pitch. So he's maintaining that constant pitch, rolling out that bank, keeping that pitch, keeping out that pitch, rolling out that bank, stall horn, stall horn, stall horn, stall horn. Gets to his 90-degree point again, where his wing is right over the road in this case. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and he should be pretty low speed, about 60-something knots, and maintain straight and level flight. And so that's a walkthrough of the diagram of the maneuver. So some common errors would be improper pitch, so not pitching up enough for max performance in that initial first 90 degrees of that maneuver, or pitching too much and just stalling before the maneuver is done, so failure to gain maximum performance. or being uncoordinated, only using ailerons, not using rudder to maintain coordination. That is another big error. Improper banks, that'd be right off the bat, maybe not banking enough or slowly trying to go into that bank, but you gotta just go into that 30 degrees and go. You can't 10, wait a couple seconds, 20, wait a couple more seconds, 30, and so you just gotta right off the bat get that 30 degrees of bank right. And not achieving max performance, so that's just kind of your pilot's ability to realize, colder day, I should be able to pitch up a couple more degrees, or on a summer day, okay, it's really hot, I have a lot of weight in the plane, I'm probably not going to be able to pitch as much because I will stall. And stalling during maneuver, yep, that is the last common error, so that would be because you pitched up too much initially, and now that you're having to hold that pitch, maybe you did 22 degrees or something, so you're going to stall before you get to the 180 degree point. And that is all for Chandelles.